Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a video on my concealers, just giving you a concealer overview. I'm sharing the video because I've tried many different concealers, and although I don't have a holy grail, some of the products that I talked to you about may appeal to you. So I'm just going to start pulling them out of the drawer randomly. The first one that I have is the Studio Sculpt Concealer by MAC. And I have the color NC50. This concealer is very creamy. So if you have a lot of creasing under your eyes, you want to make sure that you put it on very lightly. I would say for my needs, it provides more medium coverage because I have really dark circles, which are mainly due to a lot of puffiness, because my eyes are really puffy, and so the puffiness causes dark circles. See, if I kind of go like that, they kind of go away. So for my needs, it's a more medium coverage, and it is one of my one of the better concealers that I've tried. However, it's more like, to me, putting on a cream foundation. And then I also have two of these. It's the MAC Studio Finish Concealer, and it's in NW45. I've had this for a very long time, so if you do splurge on this one, it should last you a long time. It's more thick, less creamy. I would say it could be close to full coverage if you don't have really bad imperfections. It's one of the better ones that I own. It's not the best, but it's one of the better ones, and I think it's like $15 or so. The next one I have is actually a corrector, and it's the Bobbi Brown color corrector in Deep Bisque, which is like a peachy color, and I do not like this at all. It does correct the dark circles a little bit, not completely. However, it is too creamy. This is one of the creamiest concealers that I have, and because it's so creamy, even though I don't have a lot of creasing under my eyes, the creases that I do have, the product just gets stuck in the creases. I absolutely do not like that Bobbi Brown concealer or corrector at all. You're supposed to put it on and then put like your concealer or your foundation over it, but because it's so creamy, it just makes everything look awful and settles into lines. The next one that I'm going to show you is this one by Makeup Forever. It's the full cover waterproof extreme camouflage cream, and I actually have it in the color 12, and this is probably about a shade or two lighter than my skin tone. I used to have this in the color 14, and it was a little bit too close to my skin tone. This is it's a pretty good concealer. Once again, if you have extreme dark under eye circles, I don't think that this is you would find this to be a full coverage concealer. This concealer here is almost exactly the same to me as my Perfection Concealer in number 42 by Chanel. They're almost the same color. They provide about the same amount of coverage. The Chanel cost a lot more. The Chanel has less in the tube. You get twice as much in Makeup Forever. So if you were on the fence about either one of the Chanel or the Makeup Forever, to me they're the same. Just like I think those foundations are almost the same. I would go for Makeup Forever. The next one I'm going to show you is MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is, I got it in the color NW40. So that's like a shade lighter than my skin tone, and this is also a good concealer. It's more like a foundation. So I like this one for, say you want to put it on dark circles It's not going to completely cover them up. But if you just want, like, have a few imperfections that you want to cover up, and you want something more a consistency of a foundation that lasts all day, and then you just want to put powder on the rest of your face, this is a good concealer for that. It's kind of, to me, like using a foundation. I've also tried the Age Rewind Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline, and I have the darkest color they have, which is not that dark, and it's called Honey, or at least the darkest that I've found. I like the applicator. This is probably 3 shades lighter than my skin tone, so I would put this on and then put a different concealer over it. I would say it provides medium coverage. I like the sponge applicator tip. Some people don't. You just kind of sponge it on and then kind of pat it in, and it does a good enough job. And then I also tried the Maybelline Fit Me in number 30, and that one was also okay. Wasn't a holy grail, but it's a good one. I would recommend it. And then this next one is the L'Oreal True Match concealer, and it's in C789 medium deep, and it comes with like a little brush, and it's okay. I maybe used it for a little while but then moved on to something else. It is the same consistency, more like a foundation consistency like the Pro Longwear concealer. It's not my favorite. I would probably, if you had to get a drugstore one, I would get the Maybelline Fit Me. That's been my favorite drugstore concealer so far. Then the next one I tried, because I'm looking for everything, and this has been over a number of years that I've been trying this stuff, is the Studio Touch-Up Stick Corrector in NC50 by MAC. They no longer carry this kind of concealer pencil, but this, I would say, I'll show you my favorites at the end, but this was one of my favorites. It still doesn't cover up the dark circles completely, but I like that it's kind of, you can just draw it where you want it and then pat it in, and it blends really well. It's not thick, it's easy to work with, it doesn't crease. This is one of my favorites, and they discontinued it. And then the next one that is similar in consistency to this MAC is the new NARS concealers. Now, if you are NC50 or NW45 or whatever, I ended up getting the color caramel, and the color is one shade too light for me. So I think if I got the next shade up, so not caramel, but the next shade up, I think it's Armand or something like that, this would be in the same family as this. These two are very close in consistency, and this is a really good concealer. It's really smooth. It's not too creamy to where it creases, but it's creamy enough to where it glides over your skin. It can provide medium coverage, maybe full if you don't have really bad under eye circles. It comes with 2 grams of product, so not too much, but a little goes a long way. And I like it too because it's really small, so you can kind of like put it in the areas where you need to put it, and then you could just pat it and it blends really well. So this is a good concealer if you get it in the right color. And alrighty, I think I have like 5 more. I also have this Select Moisture Cover by MAC. It came out with, I don't remember what collection, but I don't think that it's normally sold on the website. And one side is yellow and one side is peach or coral, and I normally use the coral side. So I'm going to show you something, because I also have this Giorgio Armani corrector in number 2. Now, for people of my skin tone or darker, I heard that number 3 is a better color for us, but they discontinued number 3, so he only has 1 and 2, and it's okay. I like that the brush is small, like an eyeliner brush, so that you could kind of just put it wherever you need to apply it. But the thing about it is this color is a little bit deeper, the MAC peach one. And I think this is what number 3 was in Armani. If you take this color here, or you find a coral corrector that is in a similar consistency as the MAC moisture cover, and then you put it on with the eyeliner brush, say if you just took a eyeliner brush and patted it on and put that on, you would get the same effect as the Armani corrector. So I don't necessarily think that this Giorgio Armani corrector is a holy grail like people say it is, and that's probably because they don't have the right colors for our skin tones. But you can make do with just getting something that's a little bit more orangey and an eyeliner brush, and you would get the same effect once you blended it in. Then I have the Prep and Prime highlighter, and this is more like, it kind of is like the Touche Clot, where you just kind of put it on. It's not a highlighter, I mean it's not a concealer, it's a highlighter. So you put this on areas of your face you want to highlight, and then if you need to go over it with a little bit of concealer, then you do that. So I would put this in more of a family as a highlighter or corrector type product. And then the last one that so far is the best concealer that I have so far. Is expensive, but when I show you how much you need, you will probably have this for the rest of your life. It's called the Sensual Skin Enhancer by Kevin Aquan. I have it in the color SX14, and when I first apply it, it looks a little bit more deep or red for my skin tone, but once I blend it out, it works. I probably am between the SX13 and the SX14, but the SX14, it works. So if you can't find 13, or you think 13 will be too light, or you're more like an NW45, then the 14 will probably be perfect. And it's thick. It's a thick cream. You just barely touch it, and you put it on where you need to put it on. It is extremely full coverage. If you put too much of this on, you're gonna look ridiculous, like you just put on 20 coats of foundation. That's how thick it is. Like when I use it, let's see, I barely touch it like that, and then I'll show you if I can. That little bit is how much I use for one eye, and it just works. So if you have any questions about any of them, let me know. But my number 1 is this one, and then the number 2 is so far this one, the Coral Corrector by Select Cover Up, which I don't think that you'll be able to find anymore. The next one I'm going to try after I try to, use up some of these is the Amazing Concealer in the darkest color. They sell it at Sephora. They have a small little tube for $28, and then I think the bigger one is $45. I want to try that out. But so far, if I can't find another one, then I'm going to probably stick with this one because it works. It's just thick. If you're not a person that wants to blend and make sure that you got it right, then you don't need to get that concealer. It's not hard to blend. You just have to really take your time because it's thick, but it will cover up anything. And some people that have really bad discoloration over their whole face use it over their whole face. I forgot to tell you about this. This is the Garnier Skin Renew Anti-Dark Circle Roller, and this one to me also works more like a highlighter type of product. So you want to put this on and then pat it in, and it's going to be lighter than your skin tone. And then once you pat it in, then put your concealer over the top or your foundation over the top, and it'll kind of brighten up the areas that you want to be brightened up. So if I try any more new ones, I will be sure to let you know, but those are all the concealers that I have in my possession. Like I said, if I was going to recommend a drugstore concealer, it would be the Maybelline Fit Me. It didn't take away the dark circles completely, but it worked well enough, and that's the best one that I've tried in the drugstore. And as far as MAC, if you want to go the MAC route, I like the Prolong Wear by MAC. And then I also like this that they don't sell. So I'm sorry that it happens to be one of my favorites. But maybe if you could find one similar. And then my holy grail so far is the Cabernet Franc. And if the Amazing concealer is not better, then I'm probably going to stick with the Cabernet Franc.